What's up everybody, this is your boy Kendrick talking, and welcome to a very special video because it is actually the first Hearthstone related video that I've done in over 1.5 years. So as most of you guys probably don't know just yet, Hearthstone is where my YouTube career once started. You know, I used to do a couple of highlight videos, a couple of deck introduction and guide videos, so I still thoroughly enjoy the game. However, with Heroes of the Storm being released, I sort of thought it was time for something different, for something new, and as you know, the fan base on the channel that is related to Heroes of the Storm these days is by far the largest one, so that was the reason why I focused mainly on Heroes of the Storm and not so much on Hearthstone over the last couple of months. But, and here comes the big but, with the new expansion being released, of course we're talking about Whispers of the Old Gods, I am really excited and pumped about getting into Hearthstone again, because with a new play format called Standard, which only allows the cards being released from the last 2 years, I think, the whole way of how you have to approach the game has drastically changed. Not only do you have to create different and more flexible and innovative decks, the entire landscape of what's good and what's not so good has shifted quite a bit, and that makes it incredibly exciting to get back into the game, both in Arena and of course in the normal standard mode. I'm gonna be playing a little bit of Wild for sure, but for now, or at least for the content that's gonna come out over the next couple of weeks and months, it's mainly going to be standard. And I think throughout the months and years to come, this will be the sort of game mode that will actually establish itself in competitive tournaments as well, because I think it's just, you know, the most balanced one overall. And let's also not forget about all the new cards that Whispers of the Old God brings to us, brings to the table. We've seen crazy Cthulhu decks already. We've seen Yogg-Saron wreaking havoc with the ultimate RNG combos that you can imagine. So, you know, I thought we would actually get going with Whispers of the Old Gods by opening packs. So yeah, I bought myself the 40-pack bundle, and I've also done the first couple of quests that give you additional free boosters. So as you can see, we've got 64 Whispers of the Old God packs there, and we are going to open them together. And starting from that, we will actually create decks with the new cards, and we will also craft cards, of course, disenchant older cards that we don't need in standard anymore. Rip Dr. Boom. And no, I'm not going to disenchant Dr. Boom. You never know when you're going to use that little bugger. But we're definitely going to disenchant some other legendaries that we definitely don't need anymore. So yeah, let's actually get going. Pack number 1. Here we go. Of course, we want to see as many legendaries as humanly possible. Okay, nothing happening, of course, in the first one. That would have been too nice. Alright, but maybe with pack number 2. Let's keep it up. Basically, I'm not even gonna hover over the cards, because, you know, some players, they like to do that. They like to hover over the cards and be like, depending on the shimmer, if it's orange or purple, you know what's gonna come to you. We're just gonna open them as quickly as possible and then take the full surprise effect to the max. There we go, we've got more. Just a golden rare. Okay, it is the Servant of Yogg-Saron. Cast a random spell that costs 5 or less. Targets chosen randomly. I think this is a very ambivalent card. You really don't know what to expect, and overall I think there are way too many spells that could harm you, or it could just be okay, rather than the chance of getting a spell that is incredibly good and that makes it worth it. Because let's be honest, the stats are pretty weak on this minion. Let's actually take a look at the Selfless Hero. Give a random friendly minion Divine Shield on Death Rattle. That's pretty nice. I think that's actually pretty sick, especially in Arena. That makes it a really good minion. Alright, cool, cool. So far, I think we've got a good Paladin card to start with. Another golden one. This time it's a golden rare. The Darkshine Librarian, random. Battlecry, discard random card. Death Rattle, draw a card. Alright. So basically, you lose a card, but with a Death Rattle, you draw another card. I think... I'm not sure about that. I don't think the stats make it worth it. Maybe if it would have been a 3-3, it could be considered good, but the chances of losing a really good card and then drawing a shitty one or a mediocre one, I think it's just too far. I don't like this card, at least not for now. Alright, let's go for the next one. When are we gonna get the first rare, epic, or legendary? Alright, nothing special in this one. So far, I think the packs are taking their sweet time until they show us anything really good. We're waiting for those epics. Oh! And the first epic, it is the Wisps of the Old Gods. It's Druid card, 7 mana. Choose one, summon 7 1/1 Wisps, or give your minions +2/+2. Now, we've all heard the rumors about those crazy legendary Wisp decks, but for now, I remain a little bit skeptical. I don't think we should start with a deck like that. Alright. Faceless Summoner is pretty good. I've actually seen this card in many of the standard mage decks. It's pretty nice. It gives you a little bit of a mid to end game board presence. I like it, and I've actually seen some pretty sick combos there with spawning stuff like a Mugla or something like that. You know, it's really sick. Not too bad. The Adult Grizzly also looks kind of cool. After you summon a minion, give it +1/+1. Okay. So far, so good. What I found to be particularly annoying with the new cards, well, annoying in a positive sense, you know, not really game-breaking annoying or anything, is that many of the Cthulhu minions, actually all of them, I think, have pretty sick stats. So they give you a pretty nice board. While waiting, of course, for the big Cthulhu to make an appearance. So, definitely very, very nice. So, still no legendary. Relatively few epics as well. So, I think we're probably going to see something throughout the later stages of this draft, of course. Bloodsilk Cultist. Alright, if you control a pirate, give your weapon +1/+1. Actually has pretty decent stats. 3/4 for a 3 mana minion is not too bad at all. And it also gives you a better weapon, or improves your weapon whenever you control a pirate, you know. One or more pirates than that is, of course, sufficient. So, with Warrior, of course, not really having Death's Bite anymore. Chances of Warriors these days having good weapons is pretty much limited to the Fiery Axe, the Fiery War Axe, that is. So, I don't really see the value of this card just yet. Alright, here we go. Next one. Nothing special. Golden Common, alright. That's pretty sweet artwork. Whenever a character is healed, give your Cthulhu +1/+1. Of course, that's a priest card. Pretty nice stats, as I was referring to earlier. All the Cthulhu related cards have pretty sick stat lines, and a 3/6 for 4 mana is pretty darn good. So that's definitely nothing to be sneezed at. And I actually think I have seen the Hooded Acolyte quite a bit in priest decks these days anyway. Alright. So let's go with the next one. Oh, okay, another epic. We still haven't seen a legendary, but at least we got another epic. So it is Call of the Wild. Summon all 3 animal companions. So that includes, of course, Leok, Misha, and most importantly, and last but not least, Huffer. So you unleash the full Schmork combo. And I think this is a pretty powerful card, because all 3 of those animal companions, they're actually quite useful. And something that I also dig is, of course, the artwork. Look at that. Everybody's really eager to jump on the battlefield. Kinda cool. I'm definitely digging it. Whoa! A golden epic! Renounced Darkness. Replace your hero, power, and warlock cards with another classes. The cards then cost 1 less. So this is a card that I've seen in many review videos, for example, on Trump's or Crip's channel, and they were all like, you know, it's a pretty fun card. You can create decks that consist mainly or only of warlock cards, and then you can sort of swap them all around and get other classes cards for cheap, or for 1 mana cheaper, and it can really cause some crazy combos, but it can also pretty much ruin you the game if you don't get any good class cards. So I think it's a gimmick card. We may actually want to make a video about this just for the giggles, but as of now, I don't think we're gonna start with this card immediately. Alright. We're not done yet. Nothing out of the ordinary. Another selfless hero. You know, I'm really digging the card. I think, especially for Arena, this is a really good one. A really solid 1-drop that can boost another adjacent or normal minion on your side quite nicely, because Divine Shield, especially as the game goes on, becomes quite useful, especially against heroes that don't really have one of those ping 1 damage hero abilities, something like, I don't know, like a paladin or a warrior. This can become quite nasty. Now, the Klexi Amber Weaver, that's a pretty sick looking card. 4/5 for 4 mana. If your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, gain +5 health. Not too bad. Alright. Got another golden warlock card over there. An Unsaw's First Mate, however you want to pronounce that, I have no idea. Equip a 1/3 Rusty Hook. Yeah, for a 1/1, pretty much giving you a weapon that deals 1 damage, that can be buffed with the other card that we've just seen earlier, the Pirate, that buffed your weapon by 1 as long as you control a warrior. Excuse me, a pirate. I mean, it has its uses. I'm just not entirely sold just now. Alright guys, where's the first legendary? We're still looking for it. Eventually it's gonna come though, and then please don't let it be the new Infested Hogger, because I'm not really too excited about that one. But the Ancient Shield Bearer. Alright, so Warrior is basically one of my most favorite classes. That's why I'm reading all the Warrior cards in particular, and that's why I'm so excited about Warriors, you know. Control Dragon Warrior is a deck that I still use up to this day, and it's a lot of fun. So let's actually see what the Ancient Shield Bearer will, or is able to do here. Battlecry. If your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, gain 10 armor. That is pretty awesome. I mean, of course, the weak stats are sort of meh, but if you go for a Cthulhu style deck, you should have your Cthulhu over 10 attack at some point, quite easily. So gaining 10 health essentially is quite awesome. Cool. Alright. Also, I'm really digging the Overwatch card back, by the way. Nothing really out of the ordinary just here. Pack number 43. Show us what you got. The double First Mate. Alright. Alright, and the Demented Frost Color. This is also a very interesting card. It is a mage card, as you can see, a 2/4, extremely weak stats. But after you cast a spell, it has the chance to actually freeze a random enemy. Or, it doesn't have the chance, it actually does it. But you can have an influence on what to freeze, and that makes it very unreliable and a very slow card for the cost. Okay, the Bloodhoof Brave. A 2/6 taunt, enrage, 3 attack. I think this is actually pretty neat. 4 mana with 6 health is pretty sick, especially as a taunt. The only problem I see with this card is that it has relatively low hitting power, so it is kind of comparable to the Silverback Patriarch that has really weak stats. But maybe if you can make it end range, for example with the Taskmaster, it is quite okay actually. And it has a sick artwork because Tauren are badass, right? Cool. Next wave, here we go. Another epic, still no legendaries. I'm slowly but surely getting a little bit anxious here. I definitely want to see something orange out of the packs at some point. The Ancient Harbinger, or Harbinger, or whatever you want to call it. At the start of your turn, put a 10 cost minion from your deck into your hand. This can basically be an old god, it can be a giant, it's basically going to be a very powerful minion, or even a Deathwing, for example. But yeah, it's a really slow card, so I'm not sure if it's going to see some play, but who knows. Alright, nothing. The Ravaging Ghoul, Battlecry, deal 1 damage to all other minions. This is pretty much an interesting card. It's comparable to the Pyromancers, only that it can trigger the 1 damage once, and it automatically does it. You actually don't have to cast a spell to activate it. So this can be pretty good board clear, especially against a lot of those aggro decks that feature a lot of 1 health minions, you know. So Zulogs, aggro hunters, or even just paladins when they have a lot of those 1/1 dudes out on the board. I think this card can be good also to enrage, of course, certain cards with enrage mechanics, or even like a Grim Patron or stuff like that. Not too bad. I think this could see some play. Right. Orange, 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 orange! No! Still no orange. We're just not gonna give up though. We're not gonna give up. We're gonna keep this up until we get one, right? Okay, I've seen a lot of Bog Creepers in Arena so far. It's a really solid minion. It does what it's supposed to do, you know, blocking minions, of course, with taunt, and also dishing out quite a significant amount of damage with the 6 attacks. So in Arena, this is a pretty nice standard classic minion. Number 37. Alright, we have the Master of Evolution. I've also seen this card in a couple of Shaman decks in standard ranked. It's quite cool. It can, it's pretty much like a recombobulator just a little bit better, because it actually makes the minion cost 1 more, or it transforms it into someone or something that costs 1 more. So that's actually pretty sick. And let's not forget that the stats are also not too shabby for a 4 mana minion, right? It's basically like a Yeti that does something really useful. And you can even use that on something like a 1 or 2 drop early on in the game to sort of make your mana curve really flow well. Alright, so I like it, I like it. This is definitely some really good stuff in Control Shaman. Still no legendary, but we're not gonna give up. And we have a second Bloodhoof Brave. Alright, that sort of makes up for it, because I just love the Tauren. Actually, back in World of Warcraft, one of my main characters, or one of my main heroes, used to be a Tauren Shaman. Definitely good times. Most of you probably don't care about that, but hey, whatever, right? So we've got the Dark Arakoa. It is a taunt minion, 5/7 for 6 mana, and it also gives your Cthulhu +3/+3. So the stats are pretty sick already, and it also does something good for your Cthulhu, right? So looks like a pretty solid minion in my opinion. And another Faceless Summoner. I think this is actually the card that we have drawn the most so far. Alright. A Golden Bog Creeper. Alright. Oh, look at that artwork. Look at the little gnome sitting on the shoulder having red eyes. So scary, so spooky. I like it. And of course the golden butterfly in it. Alright, still nothing special. Shatter pretty much works like a Destroy Frozen minion. That can be kind of cool. Whoa! Here we go. The first one is the Twin Emperor Veclor. Not a bad one at all. Basically, it's a taunt minion, 4/6 for 7 mana. Don't worry, guys, it's pretty good. If your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, which, again, shouldn't be really too hard to make work, summon another Emperor. So you get 2 4/6 taunts for 7 mana. That's a total of 8/16. And taunt, of course. That is insane. And, you know, it's pretty damn neat, especially if you run one of those Cthulhu decks. If you run all the other, you know, the acolytes and whatnot, then it shouldn't be too big of a deal to make your Cthulhu grow to 10 attack or higher, and then you're gonna have this wonderful card. Alright, cool, I like it. Keep it up. Another one right at the get-go? Unfortunately no, but we have a Shaman card, Primal Fusion. Give a minion +1/+1 for each of your totems. Basically, if you manage to have 2 or more totems, it's basically worth it. So, yeah. Totem decks, man, it's pretty much like the bane of every Shaman player. I actually have a Golden Shaman portrait, so I played a fair amount of Shaman. It's just really hard to pull off at points, I think. So, Primal Fusion remains one of the special cards, I think. Alright, cool. Another epic, Blood of the Ancient One. What a scary artwork that is, right? If you control 2 of these at the end of your turn, merge them into the Ancient One. And I think the Ancient One is probably a pretty hefty minion. So, yeah, it's extremely slow. It can be sniped by big game hunters. It's almost impossible to pull that off, especially in standard or ranked mode in general, right? Because at some point, one of these guys is definitely going to get killed or, I don't know, sent back to your hand, whatnot. So I think it's extremely rare for you to have 2 of these guys on the board. I mean, yeah, let's be honest, it's not going to happen very often. Next one, here we go, Feral Rage. Look at that tentacle devoured bear, pretty much. Alright, another Ancient Shield Bearer, cool. We still got card packs to go, though. I'm not gonna let go. These Pirate Warrior cards also seem to have developed quite a liking for my packs, so definitely nice to see that. Golden Rare. Another... Oh, this time it's a Golden Ancient Shield Bearer. I'm definitely not gonna complain about that. Look at the evil demonic eye popping out of the shield here. Pretty nice. And another one. That was number 25. So we're almost there. We actually got 50%, or a little bit more than 50% of our packs done already. And another one. Nothing out of the ordinary here. 2 Hooded Acolytes. Another Faceless Summoner. Alright. I would actually be kind of disappointed if we didn't get at least 2 more legendaries. So let's see. Polluted Hoarder. Draw a card. Okay. The Usher of Souls. Whenever a friendly minion dies, give your Cthulhu +1/+1. I think this is a pretty solid one. 5/6 for 5 mana is pretty damn solid for in terms of stats, right? And then it has a really nice effect, especially if you go for a little bit more of a Zergy / Zooey type of deck where a lot of your minions aren't actually going to fall. So I think this is a pretty solid card for a Warlock. Alright, nothing special in here. On the hunt, Darkshire Councilman. After you summon a minion, gain +1 attack. So-so. I think it's so-so. In a zoo deck it can work, but even then, probably not worth it. You can get better cards for that. The Faceless Shambler. It is a 1/1 for 4 mana. Okay, this has to be a pretty sick card, right? This has to be a pretty sick effect in order to be considered even worthwhile. Copy a friendly minion's attack and health. Alright, so basically you get a chance to get a really good effect. It only copies the attack and health, so if you have a death rattle, for example, it won't really take over the death rattle as well, so that makes the card a lot less fearsome. It gives a taunt though, so the taunt is something of course to keep in mind, but still, nah, I'm not sold on it. And another epic, this time it's Doom. Destroy all minions, draw a card for each. Okay. Basically, you waste your entire turn, you destroy everything you've got on the board, and you get a little bit of card draw value. I think as a sort of last resort, a little bit of an emergency panic button, I think this can work. But nah, I'm not too sold on this card. Only 19 left, guys. So where are them legendaries? I can actually see that we're going to be drawing 2 legendaries in a row, because so far we haven't really seen a lot of them. Only the Emperor has been chosen. The Evolved Kobold looks kind of cool. Spell damage +2. I'm not sure if that is worth it. Especially if you take into consideration that the stats are just borderline insanely weak, right? Oh. A light in the darkness. Discover a minion. Give it +1/+1. I think this card can be really interesting. It says discover a minion, so that basically means it can be any minion in the game, and it'll automatically give it +1/+1. So, not too shabby. I might want to say this can be quite cool. I think this can be really, really cool, especially in Arena. Okay, still nothing. The Flame Wreathed Faceless. Alright, it's in 7. Wow! What? It's a 7/7 for 4 mana, and it basically only gives you 2 overload. The amount of mid-range power you can get with this card is pretty much insane. Of course, it does have 7 attacks, so it can get sniped by something like a big game hunter. But overall, I think this card is great to really establish a mid-control presence, especially in Arena. This card can really get out of control. I'm digging it. Alright, cool. Let's not forget that Shaman also has some cards like Lava Shock. Ooh, there we go. Oh no, it's Hogger. Oh, the one legendary that I did not want to see. Whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 2/2 Null with Taunt. Yeah, you get weak stats and you want it to take damage in order to have some effect. Let's be honest, this is actually worse than the original Hogger. No thank you. No thank you. Will be disenchanted most likely. Right, can we get another one maybe? Not in this one though. So we're just gonna keep on going. 13! Lucky number 13. Let's see if we get something in here. No. Not this time. Still 12 to go. I'm pretty confident we're gonna get at least another one. Maybe one of the class legendaries would actually be super sick. Especially, of course, for my most 3... For my personal top 3 in terms of classes, which is, of course, Paladin, Shaman, and Warrior. Those are my most favorite ones. Embrace the Shadow. It's a priest class, though. Not too shabby either. This turn, your healing effects deal damage instead. So this is pretty much like a Arcanized Soul Priest. Can be comboed with Circle of Healing very efficiently, but why would you want to take this card when you have an Arcanine, which also poses a body on the board, you know? This is pretty much like a cheap spell. Doesn't do anything except, of course, comboing off with your healing spells, but overall I think the Arcanine is just the better way to go. Right, here we go, 10. Let's start the countdown. Okay, nothing here. I actually saw a couple of those cards in Constructed Standard. Deal 1 damage to all enemy minions, comes with a battle cry. Kinda cool, especially against aggro decks once more. Number 9. What are we gonna get this time? Okay. Feels bad, man. Nothing out of the ordinary. Number 8. The Bloodhoof Brave. Also a good buddy of ours. I think Bloodhoof Braves, man, they definitely want to show up in decks sooner or later. Number 7. Nothing special over here. Once again, one of those big brutes for the shamans. Servant of Yogg-Saron. Once again, this really crazy, unreliable card that is probably not going to see any play at all. Unless you really are a fan of potential RNG self-ponage. Okay, number 5. Nothing. Number 4. Come on, gimme, 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 gimme. Nothing. Once again. Oh, come on. Okay, guys. Only 3 packs to go. If we could get another legendary, it would actually be kind of cool. But let's see. RNGesus, have your helping hand among us or upon us. This time we get a golden adult grizzly. Okay, you know, golden is pretty neat. We can basically disenchant gold cards to gain additional dust value. Oh! Whoa! The golden epic as well. Okay, so we have 2 epics in here. We have a golden call of the wild. Look at all these animal companions. They're hovering in here, especially the Huffer. Man, can't wait to get on the board. The Leog, of course, and Misha as well. Oh, that's a lovely animation, don't you think, guys? And of course, we also have the validated Doomsayer. At the start of your turn, set this minion's attack to 7. Not good. And number 1, the last remaining Whispers of the Old Gods packs. Let's actually get it going. And nothing. Aww. Alright, so still, I think we had a couple of cool cards, especially Warrior and Paladins were quite represented in this one. We've got a Hogger and the Emperor. About the Emperor, I'm very happy. About the Hogger, not so much. At least it's going to be a little bit of dust that we can use to then craft better legendaries or cards in general that we want to go for. Now guys, one more important thing before we close this video. I'm actually going to plan on, you know, releasing a couple of deck videos out there, showing you some in-game footage of how they work, and then talking a little bit about the concepts, the strengths and weaknesses that the decks have. So if there is a certain class in Hearthstone that you want me to play, then please feel free to let me know. I will gladly accept any requests. As I said, my most favorite classes right now are Shaman, Paladin, and Warrior, so I'm really confident on those ones. But I also play a couple of Mage, Priest, and Warlock decks, so, you know. But if you also prefer Rogues or Warlocks, then please do not hesitate to let me know. As always, feel free to use the comment section down below. And I can't wait to show you more Whispers of the Old Gods action here in Hearthstone. Definitely going to be good times, so keep an eye out, and don't worry, Heroes of the Storm and the other games that I cover, like Overwatch for example, will not forget. We've got enough space for all the games, so basically everyone get in here. Thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.